Shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, goddamn. Okay. Hitting the fuck out of somebody. I'm about to say, I was fucking shooting the hell out of snipers who trying to snipe me last match. That shit was sad. Oh yeah.
I'm sad with a glorious picture. And he's a maximum flamboyance.
The hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all niggas sound dead.
I'm kinda dead in Alexis, Africa.
Already.
He'll be back though.
Holding for deployment. Take this time to warm up.
Yeah. One, two, three, four.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Practice is over. The real fight begins now. Enemy dropping into the AO.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
I can't play that game. I need to never see satellite. Never say it. Never see satellite.
Where you go?
Blunder.
Last time I
Your
Cold
mission
War,
is simple. Secure
and I was
more
like, I hope
cash
there's a
than the
setting
enemy.
to like never play with satellite.
Anyone need this?
One of the downsides of making all deals. Yeah. No, you don't have a choice. You know,
Enemy dropping into the AO. Well done.
I'm taking rounds.
I'm driving. Right there.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Da.
Allied UAV overhead. Enemy precision airstrike. Get down.
Da.
Standing by. mark an LC for pickup. Allied cluster strike incoming. Allied precision airstrike incoming. Beware. Allied cluster strike incoming. Extraction helo is ready for pickup. Cargo's on board. Exfil is leaving the AO. Cargo extracted. Good work. Enemy UAV overhead. Allied cluster strike incoming.
LMG, here.
Allied cluster strike incoming. Enemy UAV overhead.
The fuck am I caught on? Yeah.
Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy team is tracking your position.
God damn, how tall this building.
Proceed to the marked location and secure the area.
Give me the blue. Look at you. Why you ain't sleep yet?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Step more. You close your eyes. Two. Leave your hands. Number
Hostile
3.
attack chopper carrying cash. Down.
Oh my dollar, it's like about the same skin. Quit. I can hit it and quit it. Rule number 3.
Outside calling where
Rapper the rapper.
Primary objective accomplished. Recon intel secured. This is Falcon 3-0. Good copy. UAV beginning flyover. You're safe. Lost the end of enemy UAV overhead. UAV is out of enemy juggernaut on the field.
Screenshots going.
fuck?
Where comes that?
No targets remain. You earned the win.
Whew.
That piece of food in my teeth.
That was interesting.
Streaming, do you hear that? What happened? Where's my damn? There we go.
You said what? What'd you say, Mix?
I said, what the hell happened to my cursor?
Yo, cursor? You know cursing is bad, okay?
Oh, hey, look at that. I thought, yeah. Woo! Petra.
Joe Biden told Trump
No
to shut up at the
gravity.
debate. Damn. Said, shut up. That's funny.
Did Joe Biden ever what directly led you to launch this run? Mr. Floyd was killed. There was a peaceful protest in front of the White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is a savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man's done virtually nothing. Look, the fact is that you have to look at what he talks about. You have to look at what he did. And what he did has been disastrous for the African-American community. So, President Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should Americans trust you over your opponent to deal with racism?
In a crime bill, 1994, where you called them super predators, African Americans, super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they called you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that, because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals. Total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have everyone.
Yeah, but what about the African American?
The sheriff just came out today
That's
and he
not
said,
even
I support
the topic.
President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because, you know what, if they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day, and they put up their hands, and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House, well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it. But we have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate. Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
All right,
what is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of the town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place?
That is not peaceful protest.
But you say it is.
President Trump, I'd like to continue with the issue of race. I promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training.